Greeting friends, greetings colleagues, investors, men, women, children, whoever's watching this, I don't know, wherever you're at in the world. What a day in the market. So I think everyone today went, thank God, what a market. It's like we've been going through the jungle with our machete, and today I don't want to say we're out of the jungle yet. We found a tribe today, and we are drinking and eating, but we still gotta get to, society here. We still got some chopping to do here to get out of this jungle that we're in. And this week in general, probably, Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe we should be okay in the market as long as nothing crazy comes out. It might be a pretty fun few days here, next 48 hours in the market. We might see some gains come back here. I don't want to be doom and gloom here, but we gotta be honest with ourselves here about this market here. So with that, I think today deserves a Trump dance. It's a Trump dance. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, it's a good day. We'll celebrate a good day. So with that, before we get into these stocks that we're going to talk about, obviously, you need to know two major things happen in the market today to make the market move aggressively. And Friday we had a good day in the market too, and it was showing signs that today was going to be pretty good. And one of those things that happened is that Trump said, "Hey, actually, we may scale back the tariffs. Well, we're going to mess around with it. We'll see. But people are going to pay. But we'll give and take here wherever. We'll talk about it. It'll be a moving deal, moving plan." And then Trump today said Venezuela will pay 25% tariff on any trade with the U.S. Market didn't really care about that. That came out today. Market was like, whatever, we're okay with that. But this is the week, like the calm before the storm, maybe. So that's kind of what's going on right now, and that's okay. We'll take it. This week, Jerome Powell, at the end of the week, will be talking. Thursday, he'll be talking, but Friday's the big day when we will be seeing like consumer reports on inflation, all that kind of stuff. So, once again, we're hoping it does okay. So, we could be going into a situation where the market is really going to start to pick up and do well here going into April. Or we're going to go into the biggest bloodshed we've ever seen here in the market, more than what we've seen, potentially. So the bad news of what could happen here in the next, 2 weeks in the market is that at the end of the week, the reports that come out with inflation, all that kind of stuff, are terrible. We don't think they're going to be. They're not like supposed to be, so it's not that crazy. Like the market's not that scared of what's coming as what we know right now. And then the next week, April 2nd here, we're going to hear about these tariffs. So, is what are they going to do? What are they going to look like? Is Trump going to actually work with countries? Is he house here? Says he, Trump's a wild card. I mean, he has been he's got the market everywhere. He is so back and forth, and we know what he's doing. He is playing a game of poker right now, and he's got all the cards, and he is making people fold, draw cards, and all that. So it is a very real situation where the market's just taking the hit from it. But we'll see what happens here. So let's go right into Palantir, friends. I hope you are doing well, and I said all that just so I think it's so important to be on the same page. Like, there's obviously stocks moving, but there's a reason why stocks in the market move, and we all need to be updated what's going on too. So Palantir here is looking for 100 buckaroonies. It isn't it wild that, just 2 weeks ago, people were bag selling, they were freaking out, they were like, people were literally, it's funny because people were literally commenting death threats to me almost 2 weeks ago, like, I bought this stock at $120, I bought this stock at $80, $90, and now look at what I done. Obviously when things are bad, people want to find someone to blame. When things are good, people, they want to, party, they want to celebrate, and that's obvious what it is. But Palantir here, like I said, if people are willing to pay $100, what we've seen in the past, $110, $115, $120, almost $130, just what they were doing back in February, they're going to pay up at $100, what we're seeing right now with Palantir. So the good news with Palantir is we're getting into this moment here where we're going out of, we're going to have a break here from big companies reporting earnings. And then May's coming up here where we're going to start earnings season all over again. But these are going to be Q1s. This is a very important, earnings season coming up here where a lot of companies will be reporting their first Q1s of 2025. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It should be an exciting time for everyone. If you're an investor, be excited about what's going to happen here. Palantir here, obviously, I'm not going to come on here and be aggressively bearish with Palantir. I'm just not. There's no evidence to do that right now. I'm not going to be the aggressor on Palantir and say, hey, you know what? I don't think they're going to make any money. I don't think they're going to hit these $1 billion quarterlies. I don't think that they're going to find more deals. I don't think that they're going to find more government deals. I think it's the complete opposite of all that. I don't think, from what we've seen in the last 2 years with the market, with AI companies, software companies, tech companies, whatever you want to call them here, chip, whatever, we cannot be naive to this market, to this system anymore that has aggressively changed with finances in the market, where we had these tech stocks, AI software stocks, chips, reporting such high quarterlies, to where it's just like people, like every time, we see a big quarterly, that company will release another even bigger quarterly, 20, 30, 40, 50% more than what it did the last one. You're like, oh my God. So Palantir's in that conversation, where Palantir, the reason why you're having to pay to play here with Palantir, why you're paying almost $100 with Palantir right now, is because it's the expectation of what is coming the rest of the year. Because Palantir keeps getting deals. Palantir is in the White House, and that's a guaranteed situation for at least the next 4 years, where Alex Karp is obviously rubbing shoulders with Elon, Trump, the administration, everything. I mean, he's in it. He knows it. He speaks about it. And you know what? As an investor in Palantir, I'm A-okay with that, because I know who signs the check. So those government contracts, those are clear-cut bread butter of going right into the bank account with SoFi. I'm okay with that as an investor. So that should make you feel good, because Palantir has these huge deals with the government alone that last 3 to 4 to 5 years, but they have a slew of other companies that they do business with huge contracts. So the fun part about what's about to happen with Palantir for you as an investor right now, even buying in at under $100, I think there's a real conversation to say, like Palantir is about to be in the conversation of releasing $1 billion quarterlies. It's going to happen. If it's not Q1, it's definitely going to be Q2, more than likely, if it continues on the rate it's going. So obviously people are wanting is, all the stocks I'm going to talk about, obviously, the main thing that we're looking for in this market right now, these next 2 weeks are just so going to be telling of what's coming here later in the future with the market. For Palantir to get back to this $130, $120, even $115 share, the market is going to have to really feel comfortable. Investors are going to have to really put a lot of trust in the market. They're going to have to, the market is going to have to show that it is trusting of these tariffs, trusting of Trump, even though Trump is so, and I'm not trying to say bad things about Trump, God knows. I'm just saying Trump, like him or love him, or hate him, he talks. He just said, he just says things that should be behind closed doors, and he says it out loud, and the market goes, what did he say? And it's different, and we had that with, Biden would say negative things towards the market too. So, but Biden didn't care about the market. So that was a completely different situation. Trump obviously is so in control. And we saw this when he was in charge the first time. He's so in control of our market. It is crazy, because I remember the first time Trump ran, he would literally just give press conferences, interviews, and just control the market. It would move with what he was saying. And we're watching it's March. We're not even, half a year into being Trump as the president. And we're seeing the same thing once again, where he is in such control of this market, with what he says, what he does. So when Trump comes out and says, hey, we're sticking to these tariffs, we're going to push them, they're going to pay up, and the short term, we may see bad storms in the market, but I have faith that it'll all pan out. And then Trump just comes out and says, hey, we'll work with companies. They won't be that bad. We'll be flexible with what we're going to do here in April. And the market goes, okay, well, that's what we like to hear. So why does all that matter? That all matters because there's people that are still not investing in this market. They're still not putting their money back into Palantir. And that's very scary. It's a gamble. It's a gamble 100%. You're gambling on these next 2 weeks. People are 100% if you're not in this market. And I'm not telling you to be at all. But it is a situation of, even Tom Lee came out last week with an interview where he said, like, you know what? These tariffs, they might not be that big of a deal. The market may just go like, whatever. We may get into a season where, these tech stocks that have been running so hot, they just keep producing crazy quarterlies and keep the market just pushing forward through and creating this Roman road that it's already been on. And we just see stocks keep reporting all-time highs. And the market can't do anything but just steadily go up. With my big mouth here, what I'm saying is, if this market, if it doesn't show signs of worrisome freaking out here in the beginning of April, I think it's a pretty clear cut, as long as Trump keeps it under wraps here with what he says, the market's probably going to go, okay, we feel pretty comfortable, and you're going to see all the investors that have been a little, hesitant to put money back in the market, they're going to go, okay, I'm going to start slowly putting money back in. I'm going to start slowly buying back Palantir. I feel comfortable. I know these next quarterlies that are coming up in May. So April is going to be a very volatile month, 100%, where I probably more than likely fear will come here next week. Regardless, good news or bad news at first here with next week, there probably will be mass sell-off. People are playing the market right now. I sold some things today and took some profit because I'm more than likely we're going to see devastation in the market next week, and I'm going to probably buy back in cheaper and double positions. So with that, listen, the market loves drama. The market loves drama. Okay, so more than likely next week will bring drama, but Palantir in general, listen, Palantir is still a solid play. There's a reason why Palantir is going back up to $100. It's because the expectation of what is coming in May, and you better believe that probably no matter where this market's at in May, Palantir will be over $100 a share before and after quarterlies, more than likely. So that's that right there. Big Bear, talking about Big Bear. Look at Big Bear. Man, it's still alive. It's still kicking. So, I don't want to go over the whole genesis of what has happened here. I know you guys are sick and tired of me talking about Big Bear here, but obviously I like my Big Bear here. I'm hoping that Big Bear can have a turnaround year. Had an okay year in 2024. We're hoping 2025 is their best year with their new CEO, Kevin. Kevin keeps, rubbing the genie's belly here. That is these government contracts, and keeps getting more. We've been getting one a month here since November. I think there was one in December. One there. But there's been one in January, February, and we had that $13.2 million one spread over 3.5 years, I think, here just about 4 weeks ago. And then, of course, that news that came out 2 weeks ago where, the financial filings for 2022, 2023, and I think 2024 January were messed up. And, and two, when I looked at that, I kind of went like, maybe that's just Kevin, the new CEO, going through this company with a fine-tooth comb, which is good, and really changing things around. So I don't talk about Big Bear for long because, like I said, I know you guys are sick of hearing me talk about Big Bear. Bullet points of what I would love to see with Big Bear very soon. For God's sakes, Kevin, give an interview. Kevin, talk to the investors, talk to the people, tell them what you like about Big Bear, what you think about Big Bear, your plans for Big Bear, what we can expect with Big Bear Financial this year for investors. Build relationship, build trust with investors. God, if anybody knows Kevin, call him, text him, email him. This guy on YouTube is yapping his mouth about it. We want to hear from Kevin. We got to hear from Kevin. So I think that's so important when CEOs talk to their people. I mean, Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir, is famous for that, but and Alex most of the time doesn't even talk about Palantir. He just talks about random stuff. But Kevin with Big Bear here, it would just be nice to hear him talk about Big Bear. And he has put out press releases releases, but they've just been, pen to paper. They haven't been like video, audio, anything like that. I'm excited that Big Bear could be a big play this year, a big play. And I released a video, I think Saturday, where, I kind of put the line in the sand with, Palantir, Big Bear, similarities, what's going on. There's a lot of different things going on with these companies internally, outside, what they look like, software, comparing them to one another. Is Big Bear going to be where Palantir's at in 2 or 3 years? As of right now, no. And I think everyone would agree with that. No, because we're not seeing financially that kind of support. Now, obviously, my hopes and expectations for Big Bear at this point for 2025 here are very minimum, very little. The main thing that I would love to see right now with Big Bear is that low position that has been built in this stock right now from $1 to $2 to $3 as we change, is that, obviously there's a barrier here at $3.50 where, we're playing around at. Can we get to $4? Maybe. We'll see what the market produces here. The market may keep doing well here in the next, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe. We'll see what the news brings tomorrow. Sorry, I drink a lot of coffee. But like I said, my expectations of what Big Bear can do this year, it's very minimal. I just want to see them produce better quarterlies. I would love to see them get to like a $50 million quarterly. I would love to see them start to pay off more debt. Kevin, start talking. I would love to see the stock going into the summer get into a situation where it does release its next Q1 going into Q2 later in this year, hold an average of this $3.50 to $5.50 range, somewhere in there. That would be great, because we don't want to get in a situation where we're getting too low and we start talking about reverse stock splits. We don't want to go into that. We're not there, so I don't want to spread rumors. But like I said, if we could just end the year here with Big Bear getting more deals, and obviously the biggest thing that, is like my biggest Christmas wish to Santa right now for Big Bear is that they can get another government contract. Would be very nice, because everyone loves government contracts. They're so nice, because they last forever and they're fulfilled. Is that, what if Big Bear got another government contract like one they got not long ago for like another almost $200 million? If they were to sign another deal for 3 to 4 years for another $200 million, it would change everything. It would change everything. Bears would have to eat the mud at that point, because it would change logistically the numbers. Everything would change, because it's not expected at this point. Right now, even when Big Bear released that news that with this mess up in the filings, financial, they did release a statement saying we're still on projection to hit our quarterlies. Right, this whole year we're still projected to at least hit earnings right under 160 million. If not more. Who knows what other deals are going to pop up here. It's still very early in the year, obviously. But what's to come, we know. It hasn't gone anywhere. We know roughly what they should be doing this year at this point. But with these new deals that have come up here, it does leave room to where we could see some compounding on top of this Q1, Q2, where they're pretty good, and they start attracting more eyes. But obviously, people that are buying shares of Tesla, people that are buying shares of Microsoft, people that are buying shares of Alphabet, people that are buying, big firms or things like that, they're not buying Big Bear. I get why they're not buying Big Bear. Big Bear is too much of a risk right now. And this is why you're seeing a lot more of, just just regular investors in Big Bear and pushing it, because it's the expectation of, okay, what if they did get one more deal? What if we woke up tomorrow and there was a press release where Big Bear got a government contract, or just some other random company contract, for maybe it's just a measly $50 million spread out over 2-3 years, maybe. Okay, it's still money that wasn't there yesterday. and it's going to change things dramatically later in the year. So it's almost like buying lottery tickets that you know you're going to hit later in the year. SoundHound did the same thing in 2024. I mean, it was literally SoundHound in 2024, the beginning of the year, they just started getting contracts, like little ones. It wasn't a lot. Then they had that investment from NVIDIA. Then like midpoint in the year, they started getting more contracts and then more. And then later in the year, when they released their last two quarterlies, it was like, boom, all those deals just hit. And it was like, everyone went, holy fucking crap, what just happened? All the contracts hit. I mean, just like everyone coughed up the money. So Big Bear could be in a situation if they can get more deals. They just got to get more deals. Okay, I'm done talking about Big Bear. I'm done talking. And then SoFi, glorious SoFi, looking for that $14 position again. And SoFi's always been an up and down stock. I just talked about SoFi, so I don't want to talk too long. Obviously, I am very much I'm with SoFi. SoFi is it's the money under the pillow. I believe in it. It's going to continue to grow. This company is in such a growth stage right now of where it's at. Like Palantir, I believe you're going to see SoFi this year achieve billion-dollar quarterlies. I would not be surprised to see this stock within the next 3 to 4 months, depending where the market's going, to be at an $18 to $20 stock easily. If they release this next quarterly, my friends, and it is $1 billion, and they release a packet of good news, which they usually do with their quarterlies, SoFi is really good at, like, when they release their quarterlies, they also release like visions of what they're expecting, what they're doing, and it's like at this whole package where it's like, oh, this is great as an investor, and it really drives up the stock more. That's why you see, like, SoFi is such a creature of habit. Like, 2 weeks prior to its earnings, it will just start walking up the hill, and then earnings will come out and be like, holy freaking smokes, and then it'll shoot up. News will hit for a while, and then it just starts trailing down into its new position. So even this $13, $14, $12 position that we're at right now with SoFi, it's still very high considering where we were buying SoFi 7-8 months ago. Okay, so I mean, it's still an amazing investment for people that were here just this time last year. Okay, so I mean, people have really made a lot of money off the stock so far, and I think there's a lot more still to come with SoFi. So yeah, so SoFi is going to be it. SoFi is getting, and I've said this, I know I've said this, but SoFi is getting into a position within these next few years. It's going to be a predator among other banks, 100%, where they're going to get into a position where they have money in the bank, where they have no reason to want. It's going to get into a situation where they can control what they're doing 100%. So I'm excited to be a part of that. It's such a low entry with the stock right now, and it's a bank stock, so we're talking sky's the limit when it comes to what we could see in the future within such a young company. We haven't even seen a stock split with them yet. We haven't seen them talk about dividends yet. I mean, they could just imagine 2-3 years from now, SoFi gets to a point where they're making crazy quarterlies, their stock's really doing well, and they say like, hey, we're gonna give investors a measly 5 cents a share. We're going to give a dividend at 5 cents a share. That's not a whole lot, but if you've been buying SoFi for these past 2 years, 6 months, few months here, you've probably been compounding some shares. A lot of you have been commenting saying like you've got, 500, 700, 1,000, 5,000 shares. That's a lot of shares when you put a dividend attached to it, and then maybe in a handful of years, they do a freaking stock split. Dude, you just made most people's retirement fund that have been working, 20-30 years at just a regular job. Think about that. I mean, that's crazy wealth just like that in just a handful of years. This is how people become rich in the market, if you just are willing to wait and grow with these companies that are producing good quarterlies. So be excited. Friends, I'm going to stop talking. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate everyone watching this. I don't know why people watch me. You guys, you're just so good, and I really do appreciate all of us just learning, growing, investing in this market. I'm excited, man. I think this is going to be a banging year, regardless for the market. Even when the chips are down, you have to see the highs of what's coming. Listen, there's a lot of people when this market fell apart, 2-3 weeks ago when we started to see a lot of this, they sold out, they lost money, and they didn't buy back in. Or maybe they just sold out and took what profit they could, and they didn't buy back in. And they could have made more money this week. You've got to be careful how much fear will grip you in this market. You've got to be careful of your emotions. And I just say this as this is still stuff I struggle with. I've been in the market for a long time, but there's still stuff like that I struggle with where I'm like, I don't know if I should do that, or, get caught up in FOMO, like, I could do this, or I want to be a part of this, but, there's plays here, man. There's always going to be money to make in this market, 100%. That's why I love the stock market. It doesn't matter if you work at Burger King or you're the CEO of a company. People can put money in this market and make a lot more money. Now, for the guy at Burger King, I have a lot more in common with you, actually, with you more than you know. But when I first started in the market years ago, instead of buying lunch at a gas station for $5, $10, $15, I would take that money and I would put it in good stocks. I'd put it in something where I knew I could trade it at least when they had earnings coming. Even something as boring as ExxonMobil, Walmart, just BP, things like that. American Airlines. I can't tell you how many times I've short traded American Airlines in the past, for God's sakes. So there's moves in this market that you can start to accumulate money and push it into bigger and better stocks, to where you can build a nice, healthy, fat profile, to where it could do something very special for you in your future. Friends, I'm shutting up. Take care. Bye, everyone.